Hello everyone and welcome back to another video with Yoseka. Today I'm going to be showing you how to refill your Mildliners with the Mildliner No Moto ink. So if you're new to the concept of Mildliners and the Mildliner No Moto ink line, this is going to be a little bit of an intro, and then I'm going to show you, I'll demo how to refill your empty Mildliner highlighters. So first of all, what are the Mildliner No Moto inks? If you haven't seen, we've posted another video walking you through everything about the No Moto inks, but basically these are Mildliner highlighter ink colors now in a bottle. It's the exact same ink, or so Zebra says. So we're going to put it to the test today. This is what the bottle looks like, and you can see the ink is in there. It's that same water-based pigment ink that comes in a Mildliner highlighter. So this is the mild blue color, and I have the mild blue highlighter here. Now the main idea behind the Mildliner No Moto inks is to be able to get gradients in your writing like this, like that. It's a little more visible with some colors than others, like that, or like this. You can see between the pink and the dark blue, it's a little bit more visible to see that gradient change. But today we're not going to be doing anything about the gradients. If you want to see how to do that, you can check out our other Mildliner No Moto ink video. We'll probably link it in the description somewhere. So you can go check that out if you want to see the gradient half of the No Moto inks. But today I'll show you how to refill your highlighter with this. So first I'm going to show you how to refill the Mildliner highlighter. So if you're familiar, this is a Mildliner highlighter. It's got two ends here. And this is one of our testers from the store. And so it's kind of hard to see and tell, but you can tell that the highlighter is like kind of giving out like this. So we're going to refill this. It's actually very easy. You can actually unscrew this end over here with the chisel tip. The other end I don't think unscrews. I've tried. I don't think you can get it undone. But the chisel tip actually unscrews very easily. You might have to use a little bit of elbow grease to get it open, because it is very tightly screwed together. But once you unscrew it like this, it comes out, and this core may or may not come out with the marker. You might see it like just floating in the pen like this, but you'll want to remove both parts so that you have all three components of the Mildliner like this. And what we want to do to completely refill the Mildliner is actually soak this inner core with the No Moto ink. And you have to make sure, if you want to keep the same Mildliner color, that you're matching it with the Mildliner No Moto ink that goes with the highlighter. So for example, I have the blue here, so I'm getting the blue ink. If you have the lavender marker, you want the lavender ink. If you mix the colors, you can get a new color or have more of it be this ink color, but I just want everyone to know that Mildliner No Moto inks only come in 9 colors right now, and it's part of their like most classic lineup, the most basic colors, I'll say. They've got like pink, coral pink, gold, yellow, green, this blue, dark blue, lavender, and brown. So if you're refilling any of the classic, I'll say, Mildliner colors, any of those 9, it'll be very easy to match up the color. Otherwise, you might have to have a slightly different marker color, because not all of the Mildliner colors are available in the No Moto ink bottles yet. I don't know if there are plans to release more, but if there are, you'll definitely see them on our site. So this is the blue ink, and now I'm going to get into actually refilling the core. So once you have this core taken out, you can see it's a little bit dull colored. If you compare the color of the core to the ink, the core is a little bit lighter, and that's because it's dry. So you're just going to dip it right in. And it should start soaking up fairly quickly. Like, this ink goes a long, long way. And usually when you're doing the gradient, you just dip the tip in, and it already soaks the tip quite quickly. So this process should happen fairly quickly. So we've only been soaking it in for about 10 seconds, and you can see already that this end is so much darker than that end that we haven't submerged yet. And that's because it is soaking up that ink, and this is what we want it to look like. We want it to be very, very vibrant and moist. So I'm just gonna leave that in there for a little bit. We'll time lapse this. I'll probably only leave it in for 30 seconds because that's really all you need. This will soak up very quickly. And I'll invert it to make sure that we get the whole thing, and I'll come back in 30 seconds. Okay, so it's been a little bit less than 30 seconds, but this is already looking so much more vibrant than before. So I'm just going to dry off the edges with a paper towel here, just so that there's no ink sitting around this core. The core actually has like a plastic film on the outside to keep all the ink from, getting on your hands. You can see it's not really a messy process because of that film. So you want to keep it that way. So I've dried off the outside of the film so that the core is the only thing that is wet. And you can see there's actually some, it's a little hard to see, but there's some like ink residue like on the inside. Anyways, so now that you've refilled the core, you can just pop that back in to your tip. And you might actually see the tip change color fairly quickly. Before it was a little bit like pastel looking, almost like white, grayish, like kind of ashy. And now it's getting a lot more saturated with ink. If you pay really close attention, maybe you can see it. And then I'm just going to screw both halves back together like this. And actually, I got to see it in real time. I think it'll be hard to see on camera, but this end was looking kind of white and dried out, and it like instantly became way more saturated. So I don't think you'll be able to see it on camera. You'll just have to believe me and take my word for it, but I saw it with my own eyes. It was very cool. And I can already tell that this end is getting so much more saturated. So let's give it a shot. Bam. Now maybe before you thought your Mildliner was working just fine, it's able to highlight, but this is how vibrant the Mildliner is when you first get it, and now it's been revamped, refreshed. And let's test the other end too. Yeah, that's looking really good. Sorry I didn't do a before test for this end, but I can assure you it was very dry. So yeah, this Mildliner has been refreshed and refilled. You can keep doing this as many times as you need until the tip of your Mildliner gives out. But if you're being gentle with the tip of your highlighter and you're not like bashing the page with it, it should last you for quite a long time. I would say years even, with this refillable No Moto ink. If you just want to do a very quick refill, you don't want to go through the whole process of, unscrewing everything, you can actually just soak the tip of the Mildliner in the ink for like 10-20 seconds, and it will refill it for like a very brief moment, but you won't get the full like refresh and refilling unless you actually unscrew and rehydrate the core of the Mildliner. So that was how to refill your Mildliner highlighter. Now, a little extra test that I want to do. This other Mildliner brush that we have is also pretty dry, as you can see like this, but it's the gray color. This is the regular gray, part of their original, I guess, classic color lineup. And I just want to see what will happen if I soak this tip long enough, if it will kind of become a blue-gray color. So this will be an experiment for anyone who has a different color Mildliner that does not come in the No Moto ink lineup currently, and you just want to repurpose it. You don't want to throw away your highlighter, maybe get like a different new highlighter color. This will be an experiment for the both of us. I haven't tried this yet, so we're both going to be new to this. First, I'm going to try just soaking the tip. If that doesn't work to keep the pen hydrated, I'll soak the core of the pen and we'll see what we get. Okay, so just gonna soak the tip of this gray brush. Okay, so that was only about 10 seconds, but you can see the tip color here has changed dramatically. It is no longer a dark gray. That blue has soaked right up. And this happened a lot quicker than a normal Mildliner brush. I think because this brush was so dry, it soaked up the ink really fast. So let's see what this looks like. Ooh, that's an interesting color. It's kind of muddy blue-gray. But hey, if you're into that, this might be an option for you. But you can see already, just by dipping the tip, it's functioning much better than it was before when it was dry. I still think this is a little bit dry. You can see some streaking here. You can see a little bit of streaking there. It's like not as saturated as this, clearly, but this is also a mix of two colors. So let's just go ahead and hydrate that core. I want to see what happens. This one actually doesn't look too bad. You can see there's a little bit of dryness here on the end, but the center actually looks pretty saturated. So let's just see what happens. Again, I'm just going to soak this for like 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then I'll come back and put the pen together. Okay, so it hasn't even been like 20 seconds yet. You can already see that the color of the core is changing. That's kind of scary. I mean, scary for me. It might be exciting for you, but this marker is being changed. I actually kind of want to see how well this is done after only like 10 seconds. And let's see what that color of the pen looks like. So I'm going to dry off the core just to keep it neat. All the ink is staying inside. So you can see that blue color is still in there. Wow, okay. It's very blue now. And I'm going to insert it back into the pen. And this was not the full 30 seconds. This was only like 10 to 20 seconds. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, that's very saturated. You can tell when you put down the ink that it's very saturated because it'll be super wet. You can see it here, up here too. Like when you start writing, it's like very wet. And it gets more consistent as you keep writing with it, but wow. Oh yeah, that's way more hydrated than before. Also, this is interesting. I think it's pulling more of the gray color back into the blue mixture just because it's so hydrated now. But as you can see, it's making this like weird blue-gray mixture. I don't know what color to call this. It almost looks green. How interesting. The gray must have some yellow in it or something. Oh wow, it's kind of turning gray again. This is very interesting. We need a new page, I think. So I'm just gonna keep writing with this because I want to see what happens to the color for all of us. Wow, it almost looks like the gray is coming back. I would say this looks way more gray than it does blue at this point. Just to compare, this is the blue highlighter that we refilled. And yeah, that looks way more gray than it does blue. Wow, I feel like it almost became gray again, but much more wet than before. So if we compare with when we first refilled it, this is what it was looking like when you just dipped the tip, but after soaking the core, it looks like a lot of that gray came back. It's not the original gray color. It's a very subtle difference. This is a little bit more like true gray, I'd say. Maybe even a little bit more red than this gray. This gray is definitely more blue-greenish, but it looks way more gray than blue if you soak the core. So, wow, what an interesting experiment we've had today. If you soak the core of an old Mildliner pen, let's just see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like. It still looks blue, but I think a lot of the ink that's coming out is gray just because a lot of that gray ink is still in the core. It just needed to be rehydrated. So, wow, that's super interesting to me. If you rehydrate Mildliner marker in a different color, you might have more of the original color come back to life and get revived. So, wow, what an interesting experiment. I'm so glad we got to go on this journey together today. So, I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but that is how to refill your Mildliner highlighter or brush pen. If you end up trying this on your own and end up getting some different results, at least with the different colors, because this one was an experiment for me. Refilling a different color Mildliner. I had tested it with the regular highlighter before, but doing it between two different colors, that was very interesting for me. So if you end up getting, I don't know, different results than what was in this video, please feel free to comment below. Let me know. I would love to see how y'all get on. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!